Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to discuss the impact of Gigantamax Inteleon being released globally on Pokemon GO for the first time. It's the last of the 3 Generation 8 starter Pokemon to have their Gigantamax forms released. Of course, a couple of weeks ago we had Gigantamax Rillaboom, last weekend we had Gigantamax Cinderace, and this weekend, in conjunction with the Go Fest Paris in-person event, we have Gigantamax Inteleon. So we're going to be comparing Gigantamax Inteleon with a couple more Gigantamax water types, and there's probably more Gigantamax water types in comparison to fire and grass that we've had previous than any other typing in the game at this moment in time. So Gigantamax Inteleon probably has the most competition to try and overcome to be the best Gigantamax water type in the game. So we're going to compare it against the likes of Gigantamax Blastoise, of course, one of the first ever Gigantamaxes released in the game last year, and Gigantamax Kingler, which also had a Gigantamax Max Battle Day earlier on this year or late last year, I can't remember which one, but we've had it in the game for a number of months now, Gigantamax Kingler, and those two are currently the best 2 Gigantamax water types. But where does Gigantamax Inteleon sit against those? We're going to look into that. And of course, with the event that's happening in Paris from June the 14th to June the 18th, we have the Phantom Ruins event. And that's where we'll see a raid boss change. We'll also get Kyogre appearing in raids. That will replace Groudon. And we will get these Gigantamax Inteleon appearing on both Saturday and Sunday this weekend, from the early hours in the morning at 6 AM till 9 PM at night, when most power spots get locked down. So in terms of Gigantamax Inteleon, we're going to put Gigantamax Inteleon on the screen first, and we'll put his numbers up, and then we'll see how that compares with the likes of Blastoise and Kingler afterwards. So Gigantamax Inteleon, we'll put him up on the screen, and his best moveset for Gigantamax Inteleon is a fast move of Water Gun and the G-Max move of G-Max Hydro Snipe. Now that is the exclusive G-Max move for Inteleon, and of course Water Gun with fast move does charge up at max meter really quickly. But in terms of DPS, damage per second, those movesets will do 25.19 damage per second, which is actually pretty good DPS for a Gigantamax. And total damage output, it will give you 303.9. That's its score for total damage output, and that takes into account how tanky the Pokemon is, so how long it's going to last in the battle, as well as that damage per second. So that's a very good score overall view of how well it's going to do in a battle. So 303.9 for the TDO. So if we compare that to the very first Gigantamax water type that got released in the game last year, Gigantamax Blastoise, how does that compare? So we'll stick Blastoise up now, and its best moveset for Gigantamax Blastoise, again, is a fast move of Water Gun, and its G-Max move of G-Max Cannonade. So Cannonade with his exclusive move for Blastoise, and that gives it a DPS of 19.73. So Inteleon is miles ahead of it in terms of DPS. A reminder, Inteleon's was 25.19. Blastoise's is 19.73. So a big difference in terms of DPS. Now TDO, the total damage output, Inteleon isn't as bulky as Blastoise. Blastoise is a bulkier Pokemon, so it's probably going to last longer in the battles, not take as much damage as what Inteleon will do from the moves thrown at it. And that means a total damage output, Blastoise will give you 365.4. So that is actually 60 points higher than Inteleon. So that is a really big difference. But that's only going to benefit you if you're using it as a tank. So TDO is mainly if you're using it as a tank. DPS is what you're going to use it, what you're going to be focused more on if you're using these G-Max attackers as an attacker. So that is going to be the best number to keep an eye out for, and the difference between that, as we mentioned, is 6. 19.73 for Gigantamax Blastoise and 25.19 for Gigantamax Inteleon. So a big difference there. Obviously, as we've explained, Gigantamax Blastoise in this scenario will make a better water type tank, but Gigantamax Inteleon will be a better Gigantamax attacker. And that's those two compared. Now, where does Gigantamax Kingler fit into this equation? Obviously, Gigantamax Kingler got released a couple of months ago, and it had its shiny variant, something that Inteleon unfortunately can't be this weekend. But Gigantamax Kingler has been the best water-type Gigantamax in the game so far. After its release, it overtook Gigantamax Blastoise. And is it better than Gigantamax Inteleon, or does Gigantamax Inteleon knock it off its perch? Now, Gigantamax Kingler, we'll put him up on the screen now. His best moveset is Bubble as a fast move, and then G-Max Foam Burst as its exclusive G-Max move. Now that moveset gives it a DPS score of 25.13. Now compare that to Inteleon of 25.19. There's 0.06 in it as a DPS score. So very, very close. Pretty much too close to call. You could say they're exactly the same in terms of DPS. Now, TDO-wise, Kingler actually outdoes G-Max Inteleon. Kingler has a TDO of 325.9 and Inteleon has a 303.9 TDO. So Kingler is actually a more bulkier Pokemon slightly than Inteleon, and it has pretty much the same DPS as it. So in terms of which is better, I would actually opt for Gigantamax Kingler in this scenario against Gigantamax Inteleon. So my rankings of the 3 top water types in the game so far are Gigantamax Kingler, Gigantamax Inteleon, and Gigantamax Blastoise. So unlike the other 2 Generation 8 starter Pokemon that we've seen over the last few weekends, Rillaboom and Cinderace, they became the top in their class of both Grass type and Fire type respectively. G-Max Inteleon doesn't quite hit the bill in terms of the best water type G-Max, just falling short behind G-Max Kingler, mainly down to that TDO number being 20 points higher for Kingler, and the DPS between them both being exactly the same. And of course, another thing going for Kingler is that you can get it shiny, whereas Inteleon probably won't have a community day, and then therefore its shiny release until next year sometime. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that next year. We'll probably get a re-roll of these 3 Gigantamax starter Pokemon again next year when their shinies become available, after they've all had their respective community days. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of G-Max Inteleon being released on the game, how you think it compares against G-Max Blastoise and G-Max Kingler, which is your preferred out of those 3. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks very much for watching. Make sure to turn on that notification bell, hit that subscribe button and leave a like on the video. Comment down below to the questions I've asked. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.